and conquer. Kingdom alignment on assignment
It's
for the
the
king. Hope
retro
you ready for the show. Thanks for
show.
tuning in.
Go
Let's
on and
go for a ride. Got my
everybody.
specs on my side. She's my forever bride
You
that
know,
keeps up
everybody.
alive. I'ma rev it up, so
I'm in the
hold on
building.
tight. We
Now we're
about
retro.
to level up,
God,
catch us on the
don't you
turnpike
dare.
from
That's that
city
time.
to city, state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake, we are conquerors. Yeah, yeah, more than conquerors. Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake, we are conquerors. Yeah, yeah, more than conquerors. Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city,
You already
state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake.
So today we show lined up for you on today. You already see it. The number scrolling at the bottom of the screen, 980-222-4492. We thank you for pressing play and joining the Retro Philosophy Show. I hope everybody had enough turkey, enough ham, enough chitterlings or chitlins, or depending on where you're from, oxtail, curry goat. I mean, steak, roast beef. I don't know what chicken. Chicken. You got to have chicken. I mean, you can't be, of the melanin persuasion and not have no chicken, no gospel bird on your table at Thanksgiving. So I know you had some chicken. Let's see here. What else they may have had? Let's see here. What else you think they may have had, Mr. Esquire?
Definitely had some turkey.
Some
Did you
turkey.
say turkey.
Okay. We said turkey.
honey glazed
Hold on
ham.
one second. Ladies and gentlemen, saints and everybody, including Lottie Dottie, welcome to the show. J Maul, he just got that name yesterday. J Maul is really Jamal, but J Maul, welcome J Maul Esquire to the Retro. So turkey. What else? What else you think they may have had on yesterday?
Some salmon, some ham.
Some salmon, some ham. Okay.
Some greens, collards.
Collards. Yeah.
Dumpling.
Some dumplings.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So check this out, folks. Again, we want to thank you for pressing play and joining the Retro Philosophy Show. Let us know what we missed. What did you have? Sweet potato pie.
Ooh.
Apple pie. Peach cobbler. Banana pudding. Come on now, banana pudding. What are we missing? What are some of the staple dishes for Thanksgiving? I read something, Jamal. I want to say it was yesterday. I read it, and it said that we don't, and it was talking about us folk. We don't celebrate the pilgrims and the first meal and all this and that, but we celebrate Thanksgiving more from an ancestral point of view or persuasion, if you will. And so, with that said and done, there are certain ways that Thanksgiving is done in certain homes. I remember one year I took Shaquan and Taj out for Thanksgiving. Instead of us doing Thanksgiving, we went out and we served the community that particular year, and I think it was a good experience for them. I know it was a good experience for me. But my point is, there are certain traditions that different people follow when it comes to Thanksgiving. What comes to mind when you think of Thanksgiving and tradition?
Sitting around a table
Mm-hmm.
with a group of people you love. And,
Nice.
just cherishing that moment with them because they are far and few between.
They are far and few in between. And, the reality, Jamal, is, sometimes we never know when that last meal is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good to be able to cherish every opportunity that you get. I remember a few years ago, now this Thanksgiving for us, for those are here at the McIver household, we had a quite a quaint gathering on yesterday.
Yeah.
It was peaceful, it was fun, you could feel the love in the air, but we didn't have a great big gathering on yesterday. My daughter, she was out visiting her people up in I want to say Fayetteville. I think she went to. So she was, and they grown. So we'll talk about that later as well. So she was doing her thing, which she had told me in advance, and of course, hey, by all means, baby girl. But we had a small group. But a few years ago, I'm trying to do the math, and I just can't do it in my head quick enough. Maybe 4 or 5 years ago, we did a pretty big Thanksgiving here. We had like almost 30 people in the house, man. And that was just one of those special holidays for me, you know.
Mine too.
Yeah, you know.
Far and few between.
Yeah. So we want to know from you guys, what are some traditions that we have not mentioned that we should have mentioned? Let me know what is a Thanksgiving tradition for you. Now, I'm here in the north, excuse me, in the south, but when I grew up north, and you don't know this because I've never shared this with you, but when I was a kid, it was a tradition for us right after Thanksgiving dinner to put up the Christmas tree.
Okay.
Yeah, we're right after Thanksgiving dinner. That was always our family tradition. My dad, he would put up the Christmas tree, and I'm trying to remember. It's been so long ago. If he got that tree before, or if we went out. On one occasion, I want to say we went out after Thanksgiving dinner and got the tree, and then came back and put it up. But I do know that it was tradition, and then there were some years where we had the artificial tree. But anyway, the point is, after Thanksgiving dinner was when we would normally put the Christmas tree up at our home, growing up as kids. What can you remember, Jamal, growing up as a kid?
Oh, lots of board games.
Okay.
Lots of
Not boring games, but
No.
games played on the board.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Lots of losing at them too.
Lots of losing at them, huh?
Losing at them, but you know.
Any
now-
any fights come out of that?
Oh, all the time.
Okay, good,
Lots
good,
of sweat, lots of anger.
Okay,
Lots of
good,
tears, you know.
good.
Monopoly will do it.
Monopoly will do it. Oh man. So are there any, because I found out that as we grow up, and certain matriarchs and patriarchs move on, and even as you know, the family kind of, I don't know if I could say this. I guess I can. But if we're not careful, our families will grow apart.
Mhm.
You know, because we get our own families, we get our own careers. Here you were raised where? You want to share with the people where you were raised
I
at?
was raised in Hollywood, Florida.
Uh-huh.
To be a little more specific. So,
Okay.
Yeah, that's down in South Florida.
Okay. All right.
Currently in North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But where do you reside now?
I reside in Atlanta.
I reside in the big ATL.
Yeah.
And I know for your mom, that was just like, my baby's going all the way where?
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
difficult was that?
I think at that point, because I'd gone away to college and then gone away for law school,
Uh-huh.
it kind of was like, yeah, you gotta just accept
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
And at
yeah,
first,
yeah.
she wanted me to come back, but
Right.
now, she's like, no, you got it. You're good. Live your life, baby.
So at what point was it for you that you think she came to that conclusion, or she came to the reality and said, baby, you got it, do your thing?
I think it would have been like these past 2 years.
Oh, these past 2 years.
Yeah.
So how long have you been in Atlanta?
I moved in Atlanta in 2017.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just been these past 2 years.
Yeah, like during COVID or
Okay.
whatnot, where it's just
Okay.
like, yeah, you got it.
You got it. You got it.
You have a plan and you're succeeding.
Uh-huh.
And so, just see it through.
Shout out to my home slice pedal. Yes, sir. So, I think, speaking from a parental point of view, your child's room. Well, I can't even say that. I'll speak for me. Because some people might not. So for me, my kid's room will always be there. They always have a space or a place here to come back to. Now, once marriage comes in place, things change. Because
Yeah.
you're not coming back here when you got a wife or a husband over there, because you need to work that thing out. But if it ever came down to some type of emergency or whatever, I want my kids to always know that they have a place here. And so I could only imagine that there was a part of her that was saying, he's going to come back home. He's going to come back home. And then all of a sudden, he's not coming back home.
Sometimes I try and she doesn't want me to.
Okay,
She's like, no,
okay.
you got it. No,
You got it
no,
now.
you got
Okay.
it now.
So at first she didn't want you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Occasionally, it's like, all right, I'm ready to go back home. I'm over it.
Yeah. So talk to me about adulthood. What does adulthood mean to you?
Oh, adulthood is responsibility,
Mm-hmm.
and it is making choices for yourself, right? And being 100 in your choice and standing 10 toes down on the choices you make,
Okay.
right? Because no one deals with the repercussions
Mhm.
or the successes of your choices, right? And so it's you understanding yourself
Mm-hmm.
and making the best choices for yourself, because no one else can do that for you. That's what I'm finding my adulthood is becoming.
Okay, okay. So standing 10 toes down on your choices.
Yeah.
Let's talk about choices because that's a powerful word. And so we make choices, or maybe I should ask, how do you make choices?
Well, you make a choice every time you wake up.
Mm-hmm.
How you want to see your day, whether you're seizing it, whether you're just gonna let it go by, or you can be
Mm-hmm.
intentional.
Okay.
What every moment it's to choose courage over comfort.
To choose courage. I gotta pause
Yeah.
because we gotta understand that these young folk are full of wisdom. And a lot of times we don't understand that they're full of wisdom is because we as parents and as adults have not yet allowed them to take the knowledge that they have acquired and gained and to apply it. And so we could potentially be holding back our teenagers, our young adults, and stifling them because we just won't get out of the way. So you said every day we get a choice and we can choose comfort or what?
Courage. Choose to be courageous, or you can choose to be comfortable.
So you can't have both.
No.
Wow. Powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, you cannot have both. You got to make a choice. I want to give a shout out to Highway Dre. His saying is every day you get a chance and a choice.
Okay.
You get a chance and
Chance
every
and
single day
choice,
you get a
yeah.
chance and a choice.
Yeah.
You know, and so for me, when we make choices, is based on what we know right now. In other words, I choose to drink Coca Cola, even though my favorite is sweet tea. But at this particular time, I chose Coca Cola because I didn't know that we had a fresh batch of sweet tea.
Okay.
Now, in hindsight, I would have chose iced tea. You see what I'm saying? And
Sweet
so when we make a choice, it's based on the knowledge, the information, the understanding that we have right now. 2 days later, 2 weeks later, 2 years later, some more information may come up, and we said, "Well, daggone, if I'd known that, I would have done this." But when that comes up, we can't beat up ourselves. So what I'm simply trying to say is sometimes when making a choice, we do the best we can with what we have, only to find out other particulars later, and then we sometimes beat ourselves up or let someone else shame us for making the choices that we make. Let's talk about making choices only to find out you have other options later.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Okay.
That's being courageous, right?
Uh-huh.
So in that moment, you have a choice.
Yeah.
So you could be courageous and take that step in that other direction that you didn't know existed, or you can stay where you've been comfortable, or not comfortable, but it's comfortable in the situation of doubt, comfortable in the situation of violence, comfortable in whatever situation you're in. You have a choice to leave it and see what's on the other side, or you could stay right where you are and be comfortable in your misery, if you will.
Man, that's powerful. That's powerful. So we have to be willing to be courageous, even if it means being uncomfortable. We got to get out of our comfort zones, man.
Yes.
We really have to get out of our comfort zones. There have been times for me, Jamal, when I have made choices and they weren't going into it. I knew this wasn't the best choice. But it seemed like the only choice. Sometimes it seemed like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. So you make a choice based on, what you have in front of you, only to find out that even though it wasn't what you wanted to do, but it was kind of the lesser of two evils, but it still works out for your good.
Yeah.
It still ends up being better than what you thought.
Yeah.
Has that ever happened to you in life?
I'd like to say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Even
Okay.
with choices of going to school, right? It may not been. It's like I could have chose to go to a community college first, but I made a decision and I rocked with it, and I'm successful today because of it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So not necessarily at first what I thought was best, but it worked out to my benefit.
So did you always know you wanted to be an attorney?
No.
So how'd that choice come about?
I just was looking into career paths. I love the First Amendment. I love constitutional law. I love politics. I like government. And I was like, okay, well, what can I do with these things that I love? Right. And so one of the best choices was being an attorney, because you can work in all those fields.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. That makes sense. And so, talk to me a little bit about, because you said you got to be courageous versus being comfortable. And I mean, when I hear law school, I just think of too much hard work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a lot of hard work,
yeah.
but as every day was a choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
was getting up and it's like, man, I want to go out with my friends, but I have a goal and I want to achieve certain things.
Yeah.
So I could have been comfortable and played soccer on that Sunday morning,
Yeah.
but I hit the books.
Hit the books.
Hit the books.
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
wasn't comfortable reading at 8 o'clock in the morning every Sunday, right? You want to do what you want to be
Yeah,
doing.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you don't know if it's gonna even work out.
Right.
You could do all this work and not be successful in the end. So
Okay.
it is very much a choice. And then it was choosing to go to what law school.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to an easier law school and,
Right.
and ride it through, or you can go to a tougher school and have to compete.
Okay.
Right. And so then it's choosing to compete every day rather than give up.
So, if you don't mind sharing, which law school did you choose to go to?
I ended up going to the University of Florida.
Okay. Okay.
So, go
And-
Gators.
And were there any other options that you had considered?
So I originally started at Nova Southeastern,
Right.
and it was very much I'm probably going to stay in South Florida
Yeah.
and, do criminal law. And then I was talking to a professor there, I'm not going to say who, and she was like, are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, nah. And she was like, because if you're not sure, you got to go to a bigger school that
Yeah.
that name carries around the country, because you don't want to limit yourself. You have too
Right.
much potential.
Okay. Nice.
So,
Nice. Nice.
Hearing those words were kind of like, okay, yeah, let's try something bigger.
Of course. Of course. How many professors were able to speak into your life in such a manner?
If I'm talking about law school, one.
Okay.
If we're talking college, maybe two.
Okay. Wow.
We're talking high school.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with none.
Wow.
If we're talking middle school, a lot.
Wow.
A lot. Still involved in my life today.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to look into the pupils. I want to look into the orbital sockets of every single teacher, professor, nanny, and anyone else in that type of field close to that, remotely close to that field. You got to realize that these kids, man, they need you. You don't have just a job. You don't have just a career. Where's my homegirl, most wanted, Juanita Shaw? I know she feel me on this. My wife, she's a teacher, and she deals with kids, man. And you've got to understand that you have the ability to speak life into souls that may never get that opportunity anywhere else. I know they got parents, but sometimes mom and daddy ain't doing the job.
Mm-hmm.
And so in high school there were none. And I think that's the most crucial time. Well, I don't know if I could say that though, Jamal.
I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
middle school was a little
Yeah.
more important when it comes to building you as
Yeah, I could agree with
you
that.
know.
Yeah, I can agree with
At
that.
least as a student, I had professors who went out, or not professors, but teachers who went out of their way
Mhm.
to make sure that we knew what we needed to know
Yeah,
before we went forward.
nice. Let's go ahead and your auntie, she says everything is a choice. Yeah, and that is so true. Everything is a choice. And ladies and gentlemen, saints and saints, everybody, especially Lottie Dottie, sometimes you just got to make your choice and just move on. Even if it wasn't the best choice, even if no one else liked it, you made it, walk through it. I mean, you can't stop now. You're halfway in there.
Yeah.
How many times did you want to give up in law school?
Actually, if I'm thinking about it,
Yeah.
it wasn't really law school. It was studying for the bar. At that point, it was just like,
okay.
man, if I could just go take a nap.
Yeah.
I don't need to do this anymore.
Go take a nap and I'll be good.
Yeah, even during the exam, it was like, wow, this is a lot. I'm just gonna go ahead and go now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So again, if you're just joining, we want to thank you for joining the Retro Philosophy Show. We are privileged, honored, and to have with us my nephew Jamal Smith in the building. Let's make some noise. But watching you grow into the man that you are has been a pleasure. And I just hope somewhere along the way we were able to do something to pour and to you as well. Because one thing I realize is that, a child can have both mother and father in their life, and that you did.
Mhm.
but that doesn't mean, others can't play a role and contribute as well. And I say that because sometimes we think, well, he got a mama, he got a daddy. They don't. No, no, that's not always true. And again, it takes nothing from the parents by any means. I know for my kids growing up, I was strategic and intentional. To make sure that their uncles and their aunts and even some of my customers and friends, had the opportunity to pour into their life in some shape, form, or fashion. You know what I mean? But we want to talk about being thankful and being grateful and the difference thereof, if there be one. So, when you hear the word thankful, Jamal, what comes to mind?
Inside feelings.
Mm-hmm.
That's something you feel. You feel thankful for things people have done for you.
Okay.
So where I think thankful, I think thankful that my parents made sure that I like had the right people around me,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like I'm thankful for that. And so it's important to have the right people around you and to make sure you're shaped in the right way, right? And so seeing who your friends are and making sure like your friends ain't gonna lead you astray.
Right.
So I'm thankful for that.
Good.
I'm
Good.
thankful for those things that my parents have done to help build me up into the man that I am.
Good. And so, what about the word grateful? What comes to mind?
So for grateful, it's the actions of the thankfulness, right? So it's the
Okay.
outs for me. It's how what I do to show I'm thankful.
I like that. I like that.
So my parents taught me to keep good company. So I'm gonna keep keeping good company because
Right.
why would I stray away from something that I'm thankful for? And so utilizing the things I have been taught and exercising humility and humbleness and giving back to the people who gave to me, who poured into me and pouring back, that's being grateful.
That's being grateful. I like that. I like that. So because you said that it triggered something, and it's simply PIF, pay it forward.
Oh yeah.
He said PIF. What you talking about?
No idea.
Yeah. So talk to me about paying it forward.
Okay. Oh man. So paying it forward to me would be something like, I'm an attorney, right?
Mhm.
And so it is making sure that when you're talking to your clients, it's not just talking to them about the check they're getting, but also giving them knowledges that you may have gotten about how to use their money, right?
Mhm.
And so paying it forward so that this next person, they may do something better with their lives and better the lives of the people around them because they use this money that you're giving them in a smart way. They didn't run out to buy a designer bag.
Mhm.
They didn't go
Flat
put
screen
it,
TV.
yeah, go put a down payment on the car. They got a card they could afford,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
to point A to point B in
Right.
order to get their kid to school. So now their kid is in school and learning what they should be doing.
So when you pay it forward, is it safe to say it's attached to an area of thankfulness in your life?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, because people did it for me.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. We've just come through Thanksgiving, and some of you are probably watching this right now while you are consuming some leftovers of Thanksgiving.
So good.
And so, we should be thankful. And I woke up yesterday, and I was I don't know, I just had this feeling of thankfulness. And it was probably a more gratefulness than it was thankfulness. It was both, but again, it was probably more gratefulness than thankfulness. When I think of the word grateful, I will agree it does have to do with your actions, how you display your thankfulness. Um, but it also is tied to an understanding of what you're thankful for and why you're thankful. You understand that Jamal gave me, the shoes that he just bought last week, and he didn't have to. So I thank you for these, but I'm also grateful because I realize you didn't have to do what you had to do. I want to shift gears a little bit, and you being an attorney, and just growing up in general, have you ever come across people who feel as though they're entitled?
Oh yes.
Talk to me about
Oh
that.
my God, that's the worst type of person. No, I don't mean to say that, but
Yeah.
it's the truth. Someone who feels like they deserve
Yeah.
whatever and not anything bad. They deserve the world.
Mhm.
Like, right? And if they're not getting the world, which I mean, to an extent, we should all feel like we deserve, but to be entitled to it, right?
Yeah.
It's there. Those people. Oh God, there's a lot of words I could use, but I
A
don't.
lot of words, a
Yeah.
lot of words that could be used at that point right there. Absolutely, man.
It's just how is
Yeah.
the biggest one. Is how do you
Yeah.
feel that you deserve more than everyone else, right? How do you lack humility,
Yeah.
no humbleness. It's just
Mhm.
it just doesn't quite settle well, right? But I think it's because you've always gotten everything in life, so you don't know
Yeah.
how to do without.
So well, I want to be careful how I word this. Someone who is entitled, do they have or feel as though they're entitled? Do they have the capacity? And I know the answer is yes, but do they have the capacity to be thankful and grateful?
You said the answer is yes, but I feel like it's no,
Mm-hmm.
because how can you if you feel entitled to it, means like how can you really understand what someone's giving up to give it to you?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not about the other person. When you're entitled, it's all about you. It's almost like a narcissism.
But I think it's also a learned behavior.
Yeah.
Which is why I say ultimately they do have the capacity,
Okay.
but whether or not they utilize it is a whole nother conversation.
Okay.
You see?
Yes.
And so that's what I mean by that. But unfortunately, most people who are entitled, I guess it takes something kind of drastic to snap them back.
Like the loss of all their money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or there can be worse things than just losing money. You could have all the money in the world and lose your health.
True.
And you realize all this money I have and it still can't do anything for me. True story. I went to Uganda. I don't even remember how many years ago, maybe 6-7 years ago. It was a great experience, and different people had talked about going to the motherland, and there's this big connection. I didn't feel that when I got off the plane. I felt mosquitoes and heat. I didn't feel that ancestral connection. And that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother show. But it was a great experience to be there. We went over there to see a brother by the name of Jeffrey. He runs an orphanage and a school over there called Acres of Hope. And so beautiful campus that they had there, and they've done so much work since then. But anyway, the point is, man, I'm getting ready for the trip. And I'm like, I was already told I would have the opportunity to minister while over there. And so, all while I'm getting ready for the trip, I'm thinking how we get the opportunity to go over here and be a blessing to these kids and to whoever else may be there. And but when I got there, Jamal, God Almighty, the flip or the script flipped, and instead of me being a blessing, they were a blessing.
Okay.
And I never forget the first day we get there, and it was kind of a gloomy day. It had rained. And it was in the evening, and when we get there, the kids are in like little clusters. You got some boys over here, some girls over here, and you got some more over here. They're just kind of doing their own little thing. And I noticed two little kids. They're coming in my direction, me and some of the other people that were there. And boom, he kicks the ball over to me. They were playing soccer, so he kicks the ball over to me. And when I stopped the ball, I looked down, and it wasn't a ball. It was a bunch of plastics that had been wrapped up and wrapped over itself and created a ball.
Oh wow!
And that's what I said. I was like, wow. Some of them didn't have any shoes on, but all while I was there, and we were there for about over 2 weeks, and never once did I hear a sad story. Did I see a frown on their face? They were happy every single day. Had nothing in our in our standards. But nobody was frowning, and and so we've got to realize that money is not everything. Sometimes money is the reason for our problems.
More money, more problems.
More money, more problems. Ago called The Curse of the Lotto, where people were winning millions of dollars and it ruined their lives. I don't think it would ruin my life, so But you know what, Jamal? The reason why is because money only magnifies. We got some intruders that have made their way into the studio. You want to be on the show too? Yeah. And so money magnifies who you really are. And so money is not the answer to our problems. And a lot of times people want to quote the Bible and say that money is the answer to everything. And it's not. Solomon, and of course, this wasn't the Lord speaking, it was Solomon speaking, and he said, money answereth all things. But just because thank you, babe, you want to grab them? And just because it can answer a situation doesn't mean it's the answer to the situation. So again, if you're just joining the Retro Philosophy Show, we want to say thank you for joining. Telephone number is scrolling at the bottom of the screen, 980-222-4492. We want to find out from you, what are some of the things you are grateful for? What are some of the things that you are thankful for? We'd like to hear from you, if not on the phone line, and even in the comment section. What, in your opinion, is the difference between the two words, thankful and grateful? As Jamal was sharing with us, to be thankful is something that's internally. It's how you feel inside. I like that. To be grateful is displayed. It's the result of your thankfulness. In other words, you can display your gratefulness and you feel your thankfulness. And so I like that. I like that, folks. So we'd like to hear from you on this afternoon. You just got done less than 12 hours ago eating your Thanksgiving dinner. So you should have an answer on the tip of your tongue at this point.
It definitely should.
Definitely should. But again, though, people who are entitled, I'm going to try to be very. I don't even know the word to put here. I can't even articulate this. But not everyone who is entitled is a bad person. Let's just put it. Let's just say it like that. Because sometimes good people drift off into bad areas. Ooh, my goodness.
It's true. I guess when you start getting everything you want out of life, even if you come from not much, you can become entitled because you're so used to getting everything you want.
Okay, let's talk about that.
Right, and so where's the difference between expectations and entitlement? So I think that's important to draw a distinction.
Expectation. Elaborate a little bit more.
So you can put in the work and expect a result.
Okay.
Right, and that the same as being entitled to something?
I see. Okay.
Or is
okay.
Because things have always just worked out a certain way for you, you expect it, and is that entitlement since you're not actually doing any work to get it?
Okay. So here's something I used to always tell your little cousin. I would tell him all the time, you do not get what you deserve. You get what you negotiate. So often we expect something because we did the work that was, was fitting of what you expect. But if you go into the situation without articulating what you expect, then you can set yourself up for disappointment. You see what I'm saying?
Yes,
so I'm not entitled, but I expect X, Y, Z. However, you didn't tell me that's what you were expecting. My level of payment for what you did, or my level of, gratitude for what you did might be here, whereas yours is way up here. And I think that to be able to articulate that, as I said, negotiate that. Because a negotiation is simply the exposing of expectations and then settling on what both parties can agree to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're negotiating. Negotiation is not a bad time. It's not a bad thing. That is the best part of a relationship. When I met your auntie, she was 15, I was 15. And shortly after that, we started negotiations. Yeah. It was during the negotiation period that I knew where my limits were. I knew where my, what was expected of me, and so if there was ever a time where, I needed more, she needed more, what we would have to do?
Talk about it?
Renegotiate.
Okay.
Yeah. Because, what was good between 15 and 18 might not be good for 20 to 30. So and it's not like we sit down with a notepad and this and that, but it wasn't that deep. But in life, sometimes you have to revisit certain things and talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that people who are entitled, I think sometimes I shouldn't say we, but sometimes the people around them can be blamed, or at least play a role. Because you didn't speak up and say, I don't like the way you treated me, because you were so dependent on what they could get to you. So people who are entitled, I think over time, they get there because people won't challenge their actions. And when it finally gets to a point where we want to challenge it, it's kind of like too late now.
Yeah.
The monster's already created.
Yep.
Shelley says things change and people change, and that's real talk. That's real talk. Um, I'm not expecting you to go into detail on Jamal, but do you have any entitled clients?
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you handle a person who is entitled when you have no choice but to deal with them?
Humility,
Humility.
being humble, and remembering that we all are in this to learn something,
Mhm.
right? And so that might be the opportunity where they learn that, hey, I'm an entitled, person, and I'm expecting way more than what anyone else would in this situation. I'm not being reasonable here. I'm
Mhm.
not being a reasonably prudent person. That would be the
Okay.
standard, for negligence at least. So I try to keep myself in that mindset of we're all here to learn something, and so maybe their entitlement maybe teaching me to have a little bit more boundaries, right?
Okay.
Right. So like, because that's part of it, they have these really strict, rigid boundaries, and if you can't meet their expectation because they're entitled to things, there's no chance. There's no they're firing you as an attorney and they're moving on and getting the next attorney, as
Mhm.
opposed to remaining a little humble and knowing that we're all human. We're here to learn, right? So I just try to keep that mind frame and give as be as humble and graceful as possible.
All right, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about advice. You know, people say advice is like, well, I don't know if you ever heard the saying or not, but anyway, in other words, the point of it is everybody has
Oh,
everybody has some. You know what I mean? Oh boy, help us, Lord. So everybody has it, and you can't take everybody's advice. You know, but I want to talk about advice because we talked earlier about teachers that had an impact, professors that had an impact. Share with us, if you would, some advice that you received in your life that has helped to shape you, help mold you, help keep you.
So I'll say shout out to Miss Young,
Okay.
Mr. Estevez, Miss Cardoza,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Torres, middle school teachers I remember, Miss Boyette,
Wow.
yeah, Mr. Fletcher. Yeah, great teachers all
Yeah.
taught us something. I think one piece of advice that I kind of hold dear is that you can go through life alone, right? That's cool, but it's always nice to share it with other people.
Always nice to share.
Yeah. So don't be so selfish. Don't be so absorbed that you forget the people around you. Because at the end of the day, like we were talking about earlier, money's cool, but when you don't have anyone to share it with, how great is it?
That part right there.
Yeah.
That, and you know what? I often say, if you think you're successful, stop and look around. Because if you're the only one there, you're not successful. You are a failure. You know, you succeeding without having anyone to share it with is not success. It's failure. You got the bag, but you missed the whole point. I want to say shout out to Sellers Davis. He's watching with us. I just got the notion to check my Facebook page because I remembered that they are having a problem for whatever reason. It's not computing over to eStream, which is the platform that I use. So I do apologize for those of you who may have been commenting on Facebook. But one way to fix that, ladies and gentlemen, is to just scurry on over, hurry on over, get on over to YouTube, like and subscribe. And comments are working flawlessly over here on YouTube. So if you guys are watching from my Facebook page, click on over to the YouTube and join the conversation there. Excuse me. So Jamal, we were just talking about the fact that success without having anyone to share it with is just, it's not the way to go, man.
Yeah.
So that was some advice that stuck with you.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Capping in college, buddy's dad said that to us. He was like, "Yeah, you guys can be bachelors forever." It was more on the, being single and having fun, or finding your person and enjoying life with another person and creating life with another person with the life you want, right? Because it's your decision on how to live life.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that said, what is some advice that you have given? In other words, what understanding, what wisdom have you been able to extract from the struggles of life that you were able to put into words to help someone else?
Well, I think the words are to help myself currently, but
Okay.
it's to pour back into the people who are pouring into you.
Pour back into the people that are pouring into you.
Yeah. So again, with the gratefulness and going back, family, right? They're gonna be super important. Those are the people who have always been there. And I think at one point I like kind of was distant from my family,
Mm-hmm.
going through life or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, not just my immediate family, like everyone.
Yeah.
And so then learning to double down on the people who always were there for you, that's the most important thing. And that
Yeah.
the sense of joy, love, and gratefulness and
Okay.
thankfulness that comes from that.
Yeah.
And then when you go out into the world and you're experiencing other people,
Uh-huh.
you have a strong, steadfast stone to keep you grounded and remember, like,
Real
okay,
talk.
yeah, like this isn't what I want out of life. This
Right.
is me swaying
Mm-hmm.
to, feet my needs at the moment, but forgetting the bigger picture.
Wow. Wow. Share with the folks that are watching your age.
I am 33 years old.
Cool, dude. I'm still was hoping to hear 20 something because that means I'm old.
Yeah, we all getting old.
I don't mind it, Jamal. Go easy on me, man.
Getting gray hairs in my beard already.
Yeah. Life, man. It happens and it happens fast.
It does.
happens and it happens fast, man. We make some mistakes in life, and we do some things that we're not always proud of. And me and you were kind of talking about that earlier today. What we were saying in so many words, folks, is sometimes we don't like the person staring back at us in the mirror. Hold on one second.
Real talk.
Yeah. If you're gonna sit here and look at me with that tone of voice and think I'm gonna believe that you like you every single day, you a lie. I shouldn't call them a lie, right? Yeah,
Well,
I probably shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that. But I don't like me every day. But here's the thing, Jamal. Even though I don't like me every day, I love me.
mm-hmm.
And as I said on yesterday, I'm comfortable in my skin. Comfortable in my skin.
Yeah.
And I keep saying I'm gonna write a book, and I started it, but I haven't gotten past the first chapter. But one day I'm gonna walk in discipline, and I'm gonna finish that book, because it was a point in my life that has not been shared with many people at all. But there was a time in my life where I struggled as a young man. I struggled, mentally and emotionally. I wasn't cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I wasn't bouncing off the wall. But there were things in life that I struggled with, whether or not I should fit in, whether or not I should do this, whether or not I should, and if I wasn't careful, let me just be real with you. If it wasn't for a praying mama, if it wasn't for a praying auntie, come on, somebody, if it wasn't for the grace of God,
Yes.
I'd have lost my mind. Not only would I have lost my mind, but I would have lost who I was. And that's what I woke up grateful for yesterday. True story, folks. I came across a picture of me when I was in probably Kensington Avenue School. So that was grade school.
Okay.
And I looked at that little joker and I said, you still look like him. I'm seriously, I'm looking at the picture and I was grateful that I still look like that person in that picture. I'm a little older now, I was cute then, now I'm handsome. I mean, it is, and but even deeper than that, I still recognize me. You know what I'm saying? And me, I'm out here, I'm on the bike, me and your aunt, we doing our thing, we riding here and there. But even when I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm still the same old kid, and that there, it just brought me to a place of gratefulness. I'm thankful that God spared me. I'm thankful for so many things, but gratefulness, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
it's a whole nother ball game, man. What are you guys thankful for, and what are you grateful for? It's the Retro Philosophy Show. We are blessed to have with us special guest in the building, Jamal Smith, Esquire. 30-some years old.
Yeah.
And let me see your left hand. Just put your left hand like that. Just do one of these numbers. Oh, okay. Ain't nothing on that middle finger, that ring finger.
No.
So, I'm just saying. We ain't trying to turn the show into Cupid show
Oh
or nothing
my
like that.
God.
But Very intelligent young man, articulate. He's got his head on his shoulders, man. You know, doing what he's got to do. And who is Jamal? Who is Jamal?
I want to say Jamal is a person who's all about self-awareness
Okay.
and growth. So I was gonna piggyback off what you were talking about earlier.
Do so. Do so.
I just recently read a book called Outwitting the Devil.
Mm.
And it was you're talking about being that same kid, and a lot of that book talked about swaying and
Okay.
how people allow things and people to come into their lives and sway them
Mm-hmm.
from who they are. And that's when you start to feel pain
Mm-hmm.
and hurt and regret because you you betrayed yourself.
And that, Jamal, is the biggest hurt in the world. Now, what we do is we continue to point the finger at the one who we say is the reason for this, that, or the other. But the real disappointment is with ourselves.
Yeah.
That's why we hurt the way we hurt. You know, I let them get the best of me. I didn't see it coming. Continue in that same thought.
Yeah, so it is one of those books where it's like you're reading and it talks more than just about, swing. It was the biggest part was swing, but it's not just swing in the sense of who you are, it's the way you eat, right? So
Okay.
it says the devil tempts you, and the devil is really just society in this book. But the way you are tempted is, well, I know you like donuts, so I'm gonna give you a donut, right? But then now you're gonna eat a donut every day, and now you're gonna drink a soda with your donut. Now your health is compromised, and so all that money you worked for is now compromised because you're using it to help your health because you couldn't steadfast in what you knew, right? So you're given wisdom, right, or knowledge, right, to know better, and it's how you apply that knowledge, which is the wisdom part.
Right.
And so a lot of us don't apply what we know, and we're not being wise, and then we betray ourselves and we go down paths we should have never walked down.
Okay. Why is it that we have the knowledge of certain things, but we don't apply it correctly? Because we know if we speed, unless we're lucky to get a warning, then then you're gonna get a ticket. But we speed anyway, But in your opinion, what is it that causes us to do things and not get the the wisdom?
I don't know. I think it's the focus. So what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on the journey, or are you focusing on the destination? Because if you're so focused on the destination, you're gonna speed to it. You're not enjoying the journey to get there.
Oh man, ladies and gentlemen. If you're focused on the destination, you'll speed through the journey. And the speed will cause you to miss things. And not only that, it causes your journey to be more dangerous than it was intended to be. The speed limit is there for a reason. And so that's good right there, man. That's good right there. Don't speed to your destination. Take your time and enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey.
And
might catch those red flags.
Yeah. And there's a lot of flags. I saw a movie one time, and how long we been on here? Let me see. And so Jim Carrey. I want to say the name of the movie was Bruce Almighty.
I love that movie.
Yeah, I did too, man. And he's sitting there and he's driving his truck and he says, God, show me a sign. Just show me a sign, And in front of him is a truck literally full with all kind of signs hanging off of it. Detour, turn around, stop, yield, and he's got all these signs, but he's not paying attention.
That pride.
Yeah, the pride.
That
Shane
pride.
Jackson, how you doing? Thank you for joining the Retro Philosophy Show. There's temptation all around us in this life. And I agree, Shane, 100%. Jamal, since you are the guest, talk to us about temptation and the fact that it's all around us. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Right? And so the thought is the thing. Emmett Fox, that's the thing he says. And so what you think you become. And so if you're thinking of something that you want to be, let's say an attorney, right? And we talked about the devil earlier and him attacking you in certain ways. Well, then what he's going to do is he's going to find a way to sway you, right?
Correct.
And so the sway, that's the temptation. It's okay, yeah, you can study, but like you just got invited out to dinner by the girl of your dreams. What are you going to do here?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and so that momentary pleasure over your long-term goals, you'd start making those choices, and next thing you know, you compromised your goals
Wow.
and you don't make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that pride, you have all the wisdom in the world, and you can't get out of your own way.
Wow. Can't get out of your own way.
Mm-hmm.
Temptation is it's a serious thing, man, and it sucks because sometimes it's something that you really want.
Yeah. Yes. It's about being 10 toes down on what
10
your
toes
goals
down
are.
on what your
you
goals
need.
are. That's it right there. See, just because you want it doesn't mean you need it.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you do need it, well, do you really?
You need it now.
Do you need it? There you go. Do you need it now? Because timing is everything. Timing is everything. So Shane, thank you for that comment, and I agree that there is temptation all around us, and we can't blame it on I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were talking about the fact that an individual was very scarcely, I think I can say, dressed.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, how they come out like that and expect people to look, and then as soon as somebody look, they're gonna be looking at you like you crazy. Oh, okay. We got Davis in the building. Okay, I didn't understand. I see you, sir. Thank you for coming on over to YouTube. That's my grandson's iPad got crossed up. Okay. Well, God bless you, sir. Yes, sir. You are correct. There is temptation all around us. Can get out of your own way because of pride. Yep, can't get out of your own way because of pride. What was I saying though? But so the temptation. And but I guess the word is just discipline. We've got to learn to discipline ourselves. And that is not always easy either, But anyway, we thank everybody for joining the Retro Philosophy Show on today, talking about thankfulness and gratefulness. And is there a difference between the two? And as we have learned tonight, there is indeed a difference between the two. And so to be thankful, Jamal, if you want to recap, is to be what?
It's something that you feel inside. You're thankful for what people have done for you, right? And so for me, it's again, I'm thankful Auntie Shelly made dinner.
Yeah, she put her foot in it.
It was really good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat it again.
Yeah.
Me being grateful.
Yeah.
The outward expression of the thankfulness is your gratefulness.
Yeah.
That's where I'm leaning on.
So when you came back with that bride candy, that was because of gratefulness?
Oh, absolutely. Oh. That absolutely was me being grateful for all the good food. So yeah.
Oh,
Let me show you how thankful I am by getting you these chocolates.
Talk to me real quick about your siblings.
Oh my God, I love you, sisters.
Yeah.
An older sister and a younger sister. Oh my God, joy.
Yeah.
That's all I could think of.
Yeah.
Bring tears to my eyes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't see them enough.
I
talk to them more often than I used to, and they are definitely people that are rocks in my life.
Yeah.
Not boulders.
Okay.
Boulders.
We're gonna get to your mom and dad in a minute.
Okay.
But I want to talk about what a man in his 30s, late 20s, early 30s, what would cause a man with so much energy and so much life and so much potential and so much, to get into a perfectly good airplane and just jump out of it?
Oh, yeah.
What would cause a man twice. What would cause that same man to go out into the deep blue sea 3 miles out and swim with the sharks? Who does that?
Someone who's willing to live.
Oh man, hold on, wait a minute now. Someone who's willing to live?
Right? It's like getting on a motorcycle and driving across the country. Some people and it's cold out. Some people would never do that. Some people would think that's crazy. You can fall off a motorcycle, hit your head, and that's it.
But I've got way more control over that motorcycle than you got over sharks.
I don't need to be in control.
Okay, so talk to me about that, because you said you do that. You said your answer was what? To live?
Yeah. So it's the feeling. So it's life is meant to be lived.
Okay.
And we can go by and live our lives day to day, and or we can, we don't have to do such extreme things to swim with sharks, but getting out of our comfort zone, as we talked about earlier, is important. I can do whatever I want. I can jump out of a plane. I can go swim with the sharks. I can swim with the turtles. I don't have to swim at all. I can do whatever I want, and there's something to be said about having the courage
Mm-hmm.
to do it. Signing up is one thing, and I applaud you for signing up, but actually jumping out of that plane
Yeah,
and taking that risk, it could teach you to live life a different way.
that's awesome. At what point was it that you decided that you were going to go do such a thing?
So let's talk about being swayed a little bit.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that.
So a friend that I had, actually,
Now, all sway is not bad sway.
yeah, no, this is good sway.
Okay,
So
okay.
it actually started with my sisters. We were going to go to Tampa to go jump out of a plane, all of us together.
So Janelle and Jamaica went too.
Well, the car tire popped on the way there.
Okay.
So we ended up not going,
Uh-huh.
and then they ended up calling us and telling us there was a storm. So it was just like all set up for us to not jump out of
Okay,
this plane.
okay.
And then I went to Vegas with a really good friend, and she was like, "Let's just do it. Let's do it." Like,
Yeah.
And I had been talking about it because it was just a couple of months after with my sisters. And
Okay,
so,
okay.
yeah, we got up at 5 a.m. in the morning after being out till 3 a.m. and
Huh?
yeah, jumped out of a plane.
We're gonna leave that alone. Go
Yeah,
ahead, keep on
yeah,
going, keep
yeah,
on
yeah.
going.
So no, it was the night before. Is all you're all in your head.
Yeah.
You're just understanding that, man. Like, I'm risking my life to do this, but the point of doing it was to have control. Like, it is very much to make a very rash decision about what you want to do with your life and understanding the consequences.
Mhm.
But after the fact,
Yeah.
the appreciation of every day because you have another chance, it's great.
So you were taking control by putting yourself in a position where had no control.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Because that's the thing about life that
Yeah.
I learned. You really have no control. At all.
Yeah.
Right? You can make all the plans in the world to go on a hike, and then it starts thunderstorming.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. All that planning didn't matter.
Even though the weather man said there was no
yeah.
storm in sight.
How many times does that happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so so jumping out of an airplane was the first thing you did that was kind of like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I went to. You would think that would be the nope. It was jumping out of a plane.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you jumped out of a plane. You swam with the sharks when you was in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I jumped out of a plane in Hawaii too.
Oh, you did. Okay, so you jumped out of there too. So you was just really
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, jumping up, that's fun.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fun now.
Okay,
That's
okay.
The peace, the quiet,
yeah.
the cold, crisp air that you feel. That's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Okay.
It's an
Okay.
experience.
All right.
The sharks, I don't know if I'll do it again, but
Is that right? So let's talk about the sharks for a little bit.
that was a lot scarier.
Mhm.
That was like
Because you got, I mean, not only the I'm sorry for cutting you, but not only the fear. Oh gosh, I'm scared just saying it, of being eaten by jaws.
Mhm.
But then there's the whole drowning thing that could potentially present itself.
Yeah. So I did learn that
Okay.
going out that deep
Mm-hmm.
because of the salinity. I don't know, salt
Okay.
in the water.
Yeah.
You're gonna float. So
Okay.
that wasn't to worry. The sharks though wasn't even being eaten; it's being snuck up on because they are so fast.
Wow.
And so you're looking in the water and you see it, and then you don't, and you're like, where did it go? And the one thing they told you is you can't swim away because then they think you're a hurt fish, and you're definitely gonna get attacked. So
Let me make this clear. He was not in a box cage while 2 feet underwater. But you know how deep you were?
no, we didn't go under. We were at the top of the water, so it's just as much as you can get yourself underneath.
Okay.
Yeah. So they could.
So you weren't deep.
We were 3 miles out.
3 miles out.
Yeah,
But just on the top of, well, not
Yeah.
so much on the surface, but not really deep down
but
either.
they were swimming up to us.
Okay.
Yeah, like there's a
Okay.
video of the safety guard pushing the shark away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no cage or no nothing like
No
that.
cage, no nothing, just your courage.
So how many sharks would you say
We ended up
you
seeing
encountered?
4,
Okay.
3
different.
three at one time, and then one like toward the end.
Wow.
Yeah,
So the shark thing, you wouldn't do that again.
nah,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
because we didn't even get to see the big sharks didn't show up, and when I found out those were like the medium sharks. I was like, no, we're good. I'm
Wow.
good. Them things were fast and huge.
Wow. And they said those weren't even the big sharks.
No, those weren't the great whites or the tigers or the
Yeah.
Galapagos. It was, no. Nope.
When I go to Hawaii, I promise you, I won't swim with the sharks.
You can swim with the turtles, though. That was
Now
fun.
the turtles.
Can't touch them. $10,000 fine.
Holy moly!
Yeah. You can't let them touch you either.
Hold on, wait a minute now.
Yeah.
So if they bump into you,
You can be fined $10,000. You have to swim away. Crazy.
so you're really swimming from the turtles.
Get as close
and
as you
not
can
with
and then
them.
swim away. Yeah.
Holy moly, that's crazy, man. So did you enjoy Hawaii overall?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I got to see my best friend who's a travel nurse, and she's still there like a year and a half later.
Wow, on that same assignment.
No, she switched assignments. I think she's gonna end up like buying a place and just
Okay.
getting stuck in Hawaii.
So what's next for Esquire Jamal Smith?
Taking a break.
Taking a break?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. A little personal, open. Lived life thinking this year would be a year of rebuilding myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I bought a house.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
then life said we have a trick for you. We're not going to be rebuilding, you financially. Not just that. It's a whole relook of who is Jamal and who does Jamal want to be, and it's been a great year. That and trying new things and going new places, and now it's let me go back home.
Yeah.
And just be with the people that I know can pour back into you, right? So
Okay.
That's the important part.
Absolutely.
So that I can enter another year ready to go.
So does that mean relocating back down to?
No.
Oh, okay.
It is making more trips down to South Florida. It's making more
okay.
trips to North Carolina.
Yeah.
It's actually like living.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So like, don't get so caught up in your day-to-day life and the routine of life that you don't live life.
Right.
And so the most important part that I'm realizing of living life is spending it with the people I love. And those are my family.
So it literally, to me, sounds like you have shifted into a space of gratefulness.
Yes. I practice it every morning.
Yeah.
Gratitude.
Yeah.
3 things I'm grateful for. Write it down every single morning.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, you shared with me a little earlier tonight or earlier today. I'm trying to remember what the name of it was that you listen to every morning.
Oh, Be Still and Know.
Be Still and Know. Be Still and Know. On Spotify. So talk about that a little bit. How long have you been doing that? What is that? Why is it so important to you? What has it done for you? Just elaborate on that a little bit.
So being that I'm an attorney, right?
Okay.
I've realized this. I always have a goal.
Okay.
I always have something I'm working towards.
Okay.
And when I don't have something I'm working towards, or the thing I'm working towards isn't something I can actually do something about, I become overwhelmed with anxiety. And I just don't know what to do with myself. And I'm just like, I start to fret,
So if you're not working towards something, you experience anxiety.
Yeah, like vacationing is not easy. That's probably why, like, I'm not really a vacationer. I'm a, what do they call it? A vacationer versus a traveler. I'm a traveler.
Okay.
I have to be doing something.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
But then I learned that at some point in life, you have to be able to sit still. And so I actually went to a Easter sermon, and I hadn't been to church in a minute. And the pastor, obviously, it's an Easter sermon. I know all about Easter.
Right.
But he focused on the angel sitting on the stone. And he talked about how much power it is just to sit there. And everything comes to you. You don't have to go for everything you want in life. Sometimes just let it come to you. There's so much power in being able to sit and know.
Wow.
And so with that being said, I Googled patience. And that's one of the things that popped up. And so I probably started that in like end of April, beginning of May.
Okay.
And it's an everyday, like 5-minute sermon of just like a Bible passage, and it usually preaches patience.
Okay.
Right? Or shows you a way of viewing something. Right? And so we listened to that one this morning. I can't really remember right now what it was about. Oh man. Do you remember?
It was, let me see.
Matthew.
I don't, Jamal. I can't remember what it was.
Well, I'll talk about one that I've been listening to
Okay,
recently.
okay.
Recently, it's been talking about like being able to give. Why would God give you grace if you can't give grace to others?
Why
Right?
would God give you grace if you can't give grace to others?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's like putting into practice being graceful to others so that you can get the grace of God. Right. And it's if you can't be that person, why would, and if you want to broaden it past just God, the universe, right? Why would the universe give you what you want if you can't treat others well? If you can't forgive, why should people forgive you?
Right.
So that's a lot of the passages that or sermons that have been happening recently, and it's been enlightening.
Oh, I knew your aunt was gonna know. I knew she knew. Taking the beam out of your eyes first. That's what it was about.
Okay,
That's right. Yeah. She knows she on point, man. You know.
She was listening carefully this
Oh
time.
yeah. You know she don't play no games. So that's what it was about. Yeah, a good one too.
Yeah,
good
it was.
Too.
That was a good one.
Because sometimes we're so quick to want to judge others, and we got so much stuff going on ourselves, man. But to be thankful and to be grateful, ladies and gentlemen, is not the same thing. We talked about your siblings real briefly, your beautiful nieces. How many nieces you got?
I have 2 nieces. Now. 2 beautiful ones just turned 18.
Just turned 18. I can't believe it.
8. Just turned 8.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's talk about mom and dad for a little bit.
Okay.
I happen to be fond of your parents, both your mom and your dad. They both mean a lot to me. You know what I'm saying? They have both poured into me at some point or another in my life, and I think they both know that. I'm at a place in my life where I want you to know how I feel about you. I don't want anyone to show up at my funeral and say something. I was going to say that I don't know, but I can't control that. I don't want anyone to show up at my funeral and I've not had the opportunity to let them know how I felt about them, what they meant to me, and so anyway, it's not about me tonight, but let's talk about your mom and your dad. Who is your mom to you?
Oh, my mom is, it's hard to say everything because no one can be your everything, right? That's setting yourself up for huge disappointment.
Right.
But she's the closest thing to that, I guess, from in my life. Like, very constant, very outspoken, very, what's the word? Consistent.
Consistent. It's a good word. Yeah. It's a good word.
Very, very consistent. So it's important. I talk to her pretty much every single morning.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Who is dad?
Oh, man. The man. Dad's the man.
Yeah.
He's the guy. So if my mom is teaching me the books, my dad is teaching me the streets. He's teaching me what it is to be an actual black man and like to maneuver in a way that the books can't teach you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It's being able to read the room.
Yeah.
It's being able to understand vibes and body language and also be the life of the party. Yeah.
I don't think either one of you guys have a problem with that.
No.
Especially you.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. If I was thinking, I'd have pulled up some video. We'd have had some proof to show.
Yeah.
But I was, yeah. I tell you, boy. It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. So mom teach you the books, dad teach you the other aspect of things. It's not easy growing up. And I'll go a step further, because we just keep it a buck, right? It ain't easy growing up black in America.
No.
And then you take it a step further, growing up black and a male in America, and for me, from my experience, growing up as a young black man in America, trying to find out who I was and comparing myself with this one, that one, and the other in the process of trying to find who I was, it caused me to come into conflict with my parents, specifically my dad. Because my dad had been through some things that I didn't know he had been through. He had experienced some things that I didn't know he had experienced, and so therefore I didn't take him as a serious point of reference, if you will. And there was a small portion of my life where literally I hated my father. Now I didn't. It was wrong. But I was at a place where I was just seeing my dad through the wrong lens. Um, but I'm grateful that we were able to mend that relationship and move on with life. And my one of the biggest regrets, and I don't have a whole lot of big regrets in life,
Mm-hmm.
but one of them is the fact that I robbed myself of that time with my father because I allowed society, life, and even people to cause me to see him from a lens that I should have never seen him through. Um, with my mom, it's different. We didn't have that. She disowned me at one point, rightfully so. But even in that, it's just different when it with a mother and a father. Is any of this making any sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, how do you handle conflicts with parents?
So I would say that in the past, I was very volatile.
Okay.
It's like I didn't do well with the conflict with my parents, like at all. It was not. I didn't handle it well. I
Yeah.
didn't. I would probably like slam my door and
Yeah.
like not do what they asked me to do. I don't know.
No.
Dad tell me to clean. I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm not doing that. But I think now there is no like. I just talk to them like they're normal people, and they talk to me like a normal person, and there's a mutual respect, and because there's respect for each other, we can have deeper conversations or conversations that people won't probably normally have with their parents, and or at least what I don't think they have with their parents, and yeah. So and it's I can talk to my parents about anything.
So, at what point did the light bulb click? That what these people is actually pretty cool, and I should lean on them and.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think the light bulb ever just clicked.
It just evolved.
I think it just evolved, right?
Okay.
Like when you're growing up, you don't really have a choice, and then you go away to school, and then you realize you have choices of your own,
Yeah.
right? And then you deal with life, and
Mhm.
then you realize that okay, well, life is kind of garbage, so let me go ahead and like find the people who bring me joy back into my,
Right.
yeah.
They really wasn't bad after all.
Yeah, right. And they really are gonna do what is in your best interest or try.
Funny how that happens.
Yeah.
Funny how that happens, man. Yeah. Well, anything else you want to share on Jamal before we, get ready to get out of here?
If I'm sharing anything else, it's just to remember to enjoy the people around you and enjoy the moment. Right?
Enjoy the
Don't
moment.
be so fixed on the future that you forget to sit and enjoy the moment. Be still and know that the future it'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The way it's supposed to play out, it'll always happen. So
Yeah.
you just have to be firm on who you are and know that the things you want in life you'll get if you do the work and you
Mhm.
stay firm and you don't sway left or right.
Yeah. Got to stay in the middle of the road.
Yes.
Balance.
Yes.
And I think that's something that is missing in society. It's missing in our homes. It's missing in our culture. We no longer have balance, and that's a whole nother show and a whole nother topic that can go so many different ways. But I want to thank you for coming out to hang out with us boring old folk for the holiday, and coming on the Retro Philosophy Show.
Well, I want to say I'm thankful for you guys having me, and if there's anything that I can do to show how grateful I am, I'll do it.
Oh man, you good, man. Just
Being on
keep,
your show.
there you go. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Keep on being Jamal, because Jamal was specifically created for a purpose and for such a time as this. And if we go through life second guessing who we are, doubting who we are, we can never be who he has called us to be, and we will not fulfill a purpose that must be fulfilled. And so I'm big on that, man. I'm going through some things right now, as you can see in the background, the Four Corners. And for those of you who are watching this next Thursday, we'll be heading down to Georgia to do the Four Corners of Georgia. So if you're interested in doing that, God continue to be with you, young man. We're watching you now. Facebook user, thank you for pressing play. My Facebook stuff is doing some really weird stuff. My personal page won't send the comments over. The Retro Philosophy Show will, but won't notice, the name. So it's just, I don't know. I don't even know what to do to sort this stuff out, but I'll have to do my research and get it figured out somehow or another. But Facebook users, thank you so much for watching the Retro Philosophy Show. Um, but the Georgia Four Corners will be doing it. I'll be leaving Thursday. We'll take off. We'll get there Thursday night. We'll take off for the actual Four Corners run on Saturday morning. Kickstands up 5 o'clock. If you click the or scan the barcode on the bottom corner of your screen, it will pull up all the information that's needed to join us on this ride. You can do it on your own schedule. You don't have to do it next Saturday when I do it. But I'm my goal. I'm going after the. I'm calling it Mission 448. Mission 448. Something that God just kind of laid on my heart, and He's continuing to reveal a little bit more every single day, almost. And so we're Mission 448. We're going after the four corners of the 48 states, and but He began to illuminate the thought that come December 13th, I will be 48.
Mm.
And so I've always believed that you shouldn't wait till a time comes to be ready for that time. In other words, sometimes you have to start making preparation prior to your time. And so we've already started we've done North Carolina. We're going to be doing Georgia on the 2nd. So by the 13th, we'll already have a couple underneath our belt. But anyway, I'm in a space. I'm in a headspace. Transparent moment. I shared this once before. God recently, Jamal, brought me out of a very dark place.
Mm.
I was still smiling. I was still preaching. I'm still writing. I'm still doing all the things I do, but I was in a dark place. Scripturally speaking, you see in the scriptures where David was in the cave of Adullam. He had been running from Saul, who was a tormented, schizophrenic leader who just had it all twisted. And David was just tired of fighting. He had fought so much and so long till he was at a place where he was just tired. And to be tired is a bad thing. Sometimes you've got to sit still, as you said.
Yeah.
And so I found myself in a dark place, and I didn't like it. There were days when I knew I should fight and didn't want to fight. There were days where I felt I needed to climb and didn't want to climb. I was just there. There were days when I didn't know if I'd come out. There were days where I didn't know how I was going to end up. But by God's grace, one day well, I can tell you where it began. And I don't want to make it a long story, but I went back up home, Springfield, and I was at Victory Point, Pastor David Eady, and down through the years we had the opportunity to pour into his life. And he returned the favor on this day.
Mm.
I'll never forget that
What did
Sunday. He called me up during the altar call, and he began to prophesy and speak into my life. And he began to call some things out. And before it was said and done, before it was all over, I was surrounded by every youth in that church, and they were just all embracing me and just hugging my legs and just and it was just. I knew that something had happened, and I was grateful. I was thankful. I was appreciative. And I never forget, I went back home. I want to say I was up there for the whole month of October. We was up there on a job with Troy.
Mm.
And so I think that was my last weekend in Springfield for that assignment. So I got back home, and nothing was the same. Nothing was the same. And so I got back home and I had to walk out of that dark place.
Yeah.
See, it broke there, but I had to get back home and walk out of it.
So you say that, and you talked about David, and not to
No,
hijack
but
his
yeah,
story.
absolutely.
Oh God, the little boy
Mm-hmm.
that it's around the same time David Solomon, he goes, Saul, I think it is, and
Mhm.
they go to they flee the kingdom, and he gets sent for. I can't remember that sunken place he's in.
Lodabar?
Yeah, he's
Okay.
in Lodabar. I was
Yeah.
reading about Lodabar,
Yeah,
and I felt like the little boy in Lodabar.
Yeah.
And that was my moment. I was just like, wait, hold on, Jamal. You're look where you are in life,
Yeah.
and you're pulling things that you're from the past. You're bringing it with you, and it's no, leave that behind. God has brought you to a great place for a reason.
For a reason.
Yeah.
And it's ironic that you say that, because the connection between David and Mephibosheth, I believe his name was. You see, David was going through his thing,
Mm-hmm.
and he had to walk out of it so that he could have been able to do what he had to do on behalf of Mephibosheth. You see what I'm saying? So we fail to understand the connection in life, even though we don't see it and even though we don't understand it. But I need for you to understand that what you are going through is connected to your purpose. And if you give up now, you give up too soon. We gotta, let me just make this all inclusive. Let me sit up in my seat. We gotta fight. You know, David was in the cave of Adullam, but he was hiding. Sometimes we hide from reality. We hide from our situations and conditions. But I preached a message from that text one time. Thank God for bad hiding places. Because even though he was hiding, they knew exactly where he was. Yep. And they came and they got him. And the Bible talks about, you know, it was a holding place, but it was time for him to get up and get out. And that's what God said to me. It's time for me to get up and get out. Elder Edie and everybody else, they can pray over you, they can prophesy, they can do all that stuff. Let's look at and we just supposed to be talking about thankful and grateful, but I'm thankful and grateful still. Let's look at what's his name, the dude that died. I'm just trying to pull on you, Lazarus.
Okay.
I'm
not gonna get it.
You know, a lot of folks done died, huh? Which you know, you're gonna have to be more specific. Lazarus died. And Jesus said, Lazarus is sleeping. They said, well, if he's sleeping, he's doing better. He said, no. He's dead. You know, and he waited, I think it was 4 days before he went to go and check out the situation. But the point is, when he gets there, he says, after, you know, a little ordeal, he says, Lazarus, come forth. He called them by name. Lazarus, come forth. Lazarus comes back from the dead. And you know what Jesus says? He looks at those who are with him and said, loose him and let him go. So everybody has to play a part. They had to take the grave clothes off, but they couldn't walk it out for him. Some of us are trying to walk things out, but we have not yet depended on those around us to release us from the grave clothes that we were in. So just because I'm alive doesn't mean, see, we can't, otherwise we'll contaminate new seasons. You know, so we've got to be released from the grave clothes. But anyway, he said, Lazarus, come forth. He looks at them and said, loose him and then let him go, you know. And so, you know, I came back home and Shelly said, sit up in your seat, sir, and encourage the people. I was trying to do the best I can, you know. So anyway, I say all that, Jamal, to say, you know, I'm literally on a mission. I'm on a mission that had been at some point derailed and held back. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about some things that I done preach. I preached a message one time called, don't let a decoy cause you to detour. A lot of things you talk about sway. They're decoys, you know, and they'll cause us to detour, go away that we're not supposed to go, you know. But anyway, a lot of things have been delayed, held back, and we can throw some other words in there to explain certain situations, but they're not as important as the mission is. So if they're not as important as the mission is, then why are we focusing more on that than we are the mission at hand? We'll go to some more scripture since you got us talking about the Bible. You did this.
That's okay.
Okay. So Nehemiah found out that his city had been burned and that the gates had been destroyed, so on and so forth. And so they go back. They just to expedite the story, they rebuild the city. They are now in the process of rebuilding the wall. And the people come to try to get them to come off of the work. And he says, nah, we can't come off this wall. The work that we're doing is an important work, and we will not come down, man, you know. And so we've got to understand that what God has called us to do, man, it's necessary. I will not deviate from what he has called me to do. So anyway, Mission 448, you know, I'm at a different place now. I'm all churched out. I don't need your clergy collar. I don't need your title. You know, once upon a time, those things fascinated me. They you know, they had a level of allurement to it, if that be allurement to it, you know. And but dude, I've got greater understanding now. See, a lot of times we get the knowledge and we get all this, that, and the other, but you got to walk out. You got to walk out your path so that you can get the understanding that you need to get, so that certain things people won't be able to dangle in front of you. I remember I was getting ready to leave a church that will remain nameless, and I went in to speak with the pastor and tell him where we were at our in our life at that time, and we were getting ready to move on. And he looks at me and said, "I was getting ready to make you president over such and such department," and I just laughed because he missed it completely. You got to get to a place, people, where people cannot dangle things in front of you. I'm not impressed by things.
No, yes, not impressed by things.
So, I'm on a mission. It's called Mission 448. And this year, 48, I'll be 48 on the 13th of December. I'm at a place of understanding. I'm at a place of peace. Everything ain't where I want it to be, but I'm at peace with what it is. And so as I go through these different states, for some people it don't make sense, but for me it makes perfect sense. And when we did the NC Four Corners, we prayed at each corner, and it was a powerful thing, and there are some things, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, everybody, including Lottie Dottie, that you will not get, that you will not comprehend, that you will not understand until you set out to do what God has called you to do. I'm going to leave you on this note, I guess. Abram. God speaks to Abram. He says, I want you to leave from your country and from your kindred to a place that I will show you. Not a place that I'm showing you, but a place that I will. So Abram then said, okay, God, well, what time are you going to show it to me? When are you going to show it to me? How are you going to show it to me? He just says, okay. And he left. So, sometimes until we go, we'll never see. And don't just go say, well, I'm going, but you better hurry up and show me this because I ain't got all day. I got a good house I'm leaving behind and a good job. No. It's either you're going to go or you're not going to go. But you can't go, with certain clauses hanging over folks' head. It doesn't work with God anyway, but, So anyway, he says, leave from your country and from your kindred to a place that I will show you. And so as I go, God's going to show me more and more and more and more. And he's doing great things even as we speak, in my home, in the church, in the motorcycle community, as it relates to where I'm plugged in and connected at. He's doing things. Sometimes we'll never understand our true purpose, always worried about what they think. What about what he said, let alone for what they think? Yeah. So be Jamal, go when God says go. And you already got this stuff, man. Be willing to hear, but you'll never hear if you're not positioned to listen.
When you hear, you should listen.
Yeah.
When you listen, you should listen.
There you go.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah. When you listen, you should definitely listen.
When you listen, you should definitely listen. And when you hear, you should definitely hear. Yeah. However, the scripture says, having ears, they will hear not.
What do you mean?
He says, you got ears, but you still ain't hearing me.
Oh, but when you hear him loud and clear,
yeah,
and you choose to do otherwise, that's on you.
That's on you.
Yeah.
That's on you. Because we have ears, but these are not the ears that we listen to God.
Proverbs about wisdom. Talks all about wisdom.
All about wisdom.
Not be a fool.
Don't be a fool.
You got wisdom, use it.
And the thing about wisdom, as he notes, is that I love it because he doesn't say wisdom is in the secret places, but he says that it's in the chief concourse places. It's where everyone has access to it. Wisdom is not hiding itself from us. The Bible says in the book of James, if any man lack wisdom, let him ask of God, because he gives to everybody liberally and he upbraideth not. So the reason why we don't have it, I believe, is also in the book of James. He says we have not because we ask not. And so I'm at a place in my life right now, Jamal, where I'm good.
I'm at a place where I'm learning to be careful what you ask for, because you might get the answer. You're like, oh my God,
Yeah,
not what I wanted.
That part right there, that
Yeah.
is definitely true as well.
Yeah.
It's definitely true as well. Life is a beautiful thing, man. And so we're excited, man. Those of you who might be watching, keep your eyes and your ears on Kingdom Alignment Motorcycle Ministry page, as well as the Retro Philosophy page, because we will be rolling out the different states that we are going to do for the Four Corners. As I said, what is that thing called? The QR code at the bottom of your screen. You can scan that. That'll give you to the registration page for the Georgia Four Corners that we're doing on December the 2nd. Yeah, December 2nd, which is next Saturday. Yeah, next Saturday. So we're excited about that. We're getting a few things ready, getting some rest and, get some things done for the bike, make sure she's good. And it's not just a ride, folks. It's a journey, and it's not a challenge that we're putting out to you. It's simply an invitation. So we'll leave it at that note there. And I'm grateful, but I'm also thankful. And because, as the scripture says, this is the Lord's doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. You want to take us out of here, man?
You got it.
All right, folks. Y'all be good. Y'all be blessed. We're going to go get some more leftovers. Because, some oxtail, some macaroni and cheese. Some candied yams.
Potato salad.
But I don't do the potato salad.
Oh, that's what we forgot earlier.
Yeah, she cooked that for y'all.
That
She
was
cooked that
so
for y'all.
good.
Yeah. And, some rice and peas.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Some curry shrimp,
curry
shrimp. I didn't get no ham yesterday, and I didn't get no turkey.
The ham was really, really good. I
It
didn't try
looked
the
good,
turkey.
man. Yeah.
I went back for more ham.
She dressed that thing up good.
Yeah, she was like, last night, she was like, I didn't make any stuffing. I was like, we're all stuffed,
Now,
though.
I promise you right now, if you ask your aunt why the food tastes so good, you know what she's going to tell you?
Why?
Because it was cooked with love.
And that it is. Everything out of love, not fear. There it is.
Yeah. We love that girl. Listen here, folks. We want to thank you for joining the Retro Philosophy Show. God bless you, and heaven smile on you, man. We out of here. As we've already told you, we getting ready to go get some leftovers.
So this is actually take 2 because I just did my 22, but my mic wasn't on, so you couldn't hear me talking trash. But this is, 22 push-ups in honor and in remembrance and acknowledgement of soldiers. Kodak, the ground pounder, he doing his thing. And so I've been inspired. So, day 2 of my 22 on the job site. Kodak, here we go, boss man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22, which is actually my 44, because the first 22, the mic wasn't recorded. So it is what it is. 22 push-ups. It's your boy, making it do what it do on the job site. All right?
We have a community that we have to take care of. We have kids that are depending on us. I call them my scholars. I call them my future leaders because that's what they are. And I let them know, don't forget about where you were raised. Be proud of where you come from and give back. It seems more family in Riverview Gardens. It would just be wonderful to get some people to get some of those jobs and help us get these scholars where they need to be. There's a new view on the horizon where learning is required.
Say, man, you know what it is, man. Special guest in the building. Much love and respect to my man Retro stopping through, y'all. Y'all know what to do.
Big Cell. You still keeping it 100.
It's the Retro Philosophy Show. Go on and tell everybody you know. Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Lottie Dottie. And I'm in the building hanging out with Retro. Keep it locked. Don't forget, touch that dial.
Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you're ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake, we are conquerors. More than conquerors. We are conquerors, more than conquerors. Hashtag press play. It's the Retro Philosophy Show. You know, let's go. Kingdom alignment on assignment for the king. Hope you're ready for the show. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. Thanks for tuning in. Let's go for a ride. Got my specs on my side. She's my forever bride that keeps up alive. I'ma rev it up, so hold on tight. We bout to level up. Catch us on the turnpike from city to city, state to state, coast to coast. Man, make no mistake, we are conquerors. More than conquerors.